Now we all been blessed to be here, so it ain't no need for stress. We don't worry about the things that we can't control. We just pray and hope for the best. You don't need a whole lot of money. You don't need no fancy car. You ain't gotta be famous or a movie star. Just be happy with who you are. You got some food on the table and a place to live, and that's a beautiful life. You got somebody you can love, family and some kids, and that's a beautiful life. You got money in your pocket just to pay your bills, and that's a beautiful life. Just to make it through the struggle and you still be here. Now that's a beautiful life.
Okay, wind me up. DC, stand up. The Godfather, I got you. You spoiling me now. 6 years later, still the talk of the town. I put myself on, and then I put my team on too. Take on my BET. I spilled my drink on hold. Till I believe that, and I mean that, there will be no flow. If you ain't sing that tune, we see police run joke. You put DC on first, I put us all on next. And now it's all on me to keep your name on deck. Okay, the Godfather, gotta know that it's not a problem. Been in the pocket like Italians and Saviata. Praying for a better manana. I hope I'm making you proud. I'ma rep you in honor. Irrefutable spirit. How your music get nearest. When I got that award, it felt like you got this shit with me. Ha. Life's good, still it's getting better. Still pray for Low and Benny. Tell KK hold a head up. A lot have done it, but not too many that done it better. Forget a record, for all you done, you deserve a medal. A toast, a two. For jump, EU, for essence, for back, NEG, UCB, TCB, ODC, rest in peace, this for you.
All that I got, all that I need, I got you, baby, you got me. What more could I ask for? Yeah, beautiful life, beautiful life, beautiful life.
Jesus, I love you. Jesus, I love you. Oh my. And you are welcome in. You're welcome in this place. I'm lost without you.
Craig the third.
I tell you, I love doing this program, William. I do.
I think I love it more.
This is because we're bringing a lot of information to the community and a lot of good stuff. And one of our objectives was to bring you information so that you can make informed decisions concerning your lifestyle. And so that's what we're going to be doing tonight as well. We have 5 tenets of good health that we introduce in this program, Mentor Me Memorable Moments. And the tenets are mental health, spiritual health, social health, physical health, and financial health. And tonight we have our spiritual health tenets.
Right, and you get a taste of it. And just in case this is your first time joining us, you get a taste of each one each week.
Yes.
So you can't just come this week and get it all. You got to come back for more next week.
Yes.
And the week after, and the week after.
Yes.
You get it.
Come on. And so tonight, being spiritual health, we're going to have Coach Karen join us at the second half. Yes. She is a little spitfire. Love her to death. But she's going to be talking to us, and you probably received our tweets and our Facebook announcements. And if you haven't, you need to come and connect with us.
Follow me.
Yes. Go to mentorme411.com.
Very good.
Yes.
All right.
Been practicing.
mentorme411.com,
and you'll see the co-host and myself there.
You see, as they say in Southeast DC, you'll see everybody on the show.
Everybody, okay, all right. And so you just click on the co-host that you really want to connect with, or on that face page, just connect with us all. Complete your name, your email address, and then have some fun, scrolling through the web pages.
Yes, and we will write you back. We'll talk to you. We'll call you.
Most definitely.
We'll send you a card, letter, whatever it is you need to pick you up.
And if there's any concerns that
Turn
you
have,
around.
Place your feet on solid ground. Yeah.
Hey. Okay, so if there are any questions or concerns that you have in your community, then please email us so that we can research, or we can respond to you, or maybe even have you guests appear on our program. We'd love to have the community out. But tonight, Coach Karen is going to be talking to us about sabotage.
Okay, so let's break the ice.
Yes, thoughts that sabotage your destiny. And so let's start talking about that a little bit.
All right. So where do we start with? Let's say, what is sabotage?
Yes, what is sabotage? So, thank you, Mike. He is so on point.
He's the man.
Loving my engineer.
He's the man.
Okay, if you take a look at this definition, and I took a mixture of definitions and pulled them together. Sabotage is a deliberate destruction, disruption, or damage caused by an enemy to intentionally go slow or impede a progress, to malicious, that has malicious mischief, a strategic strike or blow to cripple an action or cause doubt to a circumstance, an undermining of a plan or effort, and the acts of sabotage are considered willful, intentional, purpose to cause an injury or to interfere with success. Those are like fighting words.
Indeed. And how apropos, we've been going through a lot in this country and around the world as it relates to military type sabotage, okay? But there is some military type sabotage taking place in our daily lives all the time. And sometimes we're not even aware of it, because we're going to get a little bit into the way or the forms that sabotage takes. But the here, when you look at those words and you say they're fighting words, hopefully something in you gets pricked tonight to say, I need to take some action to ward off the sabotage that's going on in my life.
And it's interesting because you said sometimes we don't even know it's happening. So it could be internal, it could be external. We're going to break that down a bit too. And so the healthy thing to do is to step back, to stand back and take a look at the environment, take a look at the situation or the scenario, and see what's going on in order to apply some principles, which we're going to talk about with Coach Karen, so that you can stop this self-sabotaging or stop this external sabotaging in your life. So if we look at that second picture, how do we sabotage? Well, this is what we were talking about. Inability to admit mistakes or having unrealistic expectations or wishful thinking. I don't know about you, William, but I am from that era of name it, claim it.
Okay.
Okay, and you know, oh my gosh, they preached it from the pulpits, name it, claim it.
Blab it, grab it.
Yes. And then even into today, in this millennium, people are still going out there laying claim to something, and they're not even sure that's what is supposed to be in their life.
Well, you know, it's funny. I have my relationship with God. It's very transparent. Not that you can hide from God. Hint, hint to some of you out there. But one of my prayers recently, because just some stuff was happening, and I realized, okay, you know, we're dealing with bullet point 1 there. I'd made a mistake. And so when I realized I made a mistake, and okay, so now that means now I got to deal with what I got to do to correct this. So immediately, part of my prayer was, all right, so is this one of those deals where I'm out there because I made the mistake and now I've just got to deal with this? Or is this one of those, okay, you know I made the mistake, and unless you do it, it's not going to get done?
Okay, yes.
Okay?
Yes.
But the realization is that something's gone wrong, and it's my fault in this case. So now we need to deal with this.
Right.
We need to change some stuff here, or else.
Step back and assess the situation.
Exactly. And I think that's the first point that you have to realize when there is sabotage taking place.
Yes.
You know, it's like they say, when you admit something, that's the first step to getting help.
Right.
And in this case, if you don't admit that some sabotage is taking place, then you're not going to get the help that you need.
When I thought about this and hearing wishful thinking and that whole name it, claim it, you know, just a whole lot of relationships being built on that's my wife, that's my husband.
Because she likes the color blue, and I do too.
Okay, let me stop. All right, because I could go a lot of places there. But we do sabotage ourselves, and when that person does not reciprocate that feeling, then we are devastated, you know, and then that takes on a whole nother type
But
of...
there was no basis for a real relationship in the first place. We had already sabotaged ourselves, our feelings, our lives in some cases. You know, there's a movie out there called, what is it called? It's called About Last Night. And not recommending the movie, but part of what comes out in the movie is this young lady moves in with a guy. They meet, they hit it off. She moves in with the guy, and then when they break up, she asks him, "Did you ever love me?" And he says no.
Oh, wow.
So here we go. She had sabotaged herself from the very beginning.
Yes.
And I'm not going to tell the rest of the movie. But
Okay.
bottom line is, we do this to ourselves.
And you know, we're going to have relationship experts come on too to talk about that.
Oh, we have two right here.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
we lived through it. Okay. But you know what? Also, judging and only seeing failures and faults in self and others, and that is a form of sabotage as well. So having people constantly tell you, "What? That's a good idea, but I don't think you can pull it off." Or why are you even trying that? You know, you failed the last time, you know. So then we don't put in that extra effort to go forward and work on the things and believe that we can have it.
And also the other piece to that is always seeing the problem as being because of someone else.
Oh,
Yeah, I think the Bible talks about having a plank, complaining about a plank in someone else's eye when you got a beam in your own eye.
Yes.
And unfortunately, we sabotage ourselves in that way because, again, unless we are willing to look at ourselves honestly, and for some that's really hard to do, so I don't make light of it. But the bottom line is, unless we're able to see ourselves honestly and realize our own faults, then we will fall into the trap of saying, "Oh, well, the only reason this didn't work out was because of they did this, or they didn't do this, or I didn't get help here, or my family didn't love me, or he mistreated me, or she stole my money." No, that's not the real issue,
right?
As to why things didn't work out.
That's right. Boy, this goes kind of deep too.
Yeah.
So when we're looking at that third picture, reasons why we sabotage internally, we're looking at it's to prevent me from being successful. I sabotage myself because I'm afraid of success.
Right.
I sabotage myself because I'm afraid that I will make a mistake. And if it is broad on a program like this, then a lot of people will see that mistake.
Sure.
And then also I sabotage myself because I don't want to look foolish and I don't want to feel shame if it doesn't work out for me.
Exactly. And there's always we call them the peanut gallery who are out there waiting to point out a mistake that was made, how it could have been done better, and all those things. So what happens is then we build up this protectionism within ourselves to say, well, I'm not going to try, and that way I don't have to worry about failing.
Yeah, but you know what? Also, too, multiply that peanut gallery. And they usually come in at the tail end when all the ideas are documented and you're ready to roll out with the implementation and somebody wants to halt the
You're
process.
Fortunate if that's the only time you're peanut gallery. I got peanut gallery sitting in the stands, just sitting there eating the peanuts. Wait, oh no, don't try that one. No, that's not going to work.
Oh,
all along the way, to just cast seeds of doubt. To say, I don't know why you're wasting your time with that one. Matter of fact, didn't you try that before? So
that's your cheering squad, huh?
Indeed.
Oh wow. Okay, and so then we have one last clip, and the reasons why we may sabotage ourselves externally is the inability to take the advice of competent persons, to refuse to say no when it is not in our capability, to plan properly, or the refusal to plan properly, not understanding the consequences of our decisions. And I mean, I could go on and on and on. You can see it right there on the slide. When you don't accept the counsel of someone who's sound and who is proven.
But that goes with the last bullet point there that talks about hanging around bad influences and misaligning yourselves with folks who don't share your vision.
That's right.
So on the one hand, you're not willing to get good counsel, where the Bible talks to us about the fact that in the multitude of counsel there's safety. But on the other hand, we surround ourselves with the wrong folks who don't share our vision, who are not trying to go where we want to go, and instead of being renewed in our own minds, we conform to the world and conform to their way of thinking.
Yes. So why are we talking about this then? Because we believe there are a lot of you out there who are self-sabotaging because you have been given a dream that is bigger than you.
Come on now.
A vision that is bigger than you, that you need to accomplish. There is some place that you have to be in order to receive blessing and be a blessing to someone else. But if you're going to sit there and believe that you cannot accomplish this task, it's just too big for you, then a lot of people are going to miss what you could actually bring to their life.
The gift that you have. I was at an event yesterday, and it was a great event. It was a combination job fair and information fair and education fair. And two ladies came up, and what they shared with me at the very end of our exchange is very moving for me, because they said, we've attended these events at other places, but this is the most positive the atmosphere that we've ever encountered this type of information. And it was like, what they were saying was, we actually feel like we can change our lives. Having attended. And I was touched because I was happy. She said, oh, you're so motivational, inspirational. But the reality is that we know that there are those of you who are out there and you're pining away on the inside because you know that you've been designed for greatness. You know that there's something more you're supposed to be doing. You're going to the job, or you're sitting at home, or whatever it is, and you're saying to yourself, there's got to be more to my life than this. And it's eating you up alive, but you don't know what to do, or you haven't been willing to take the steps, and it's messing with your mind. I mean, that's the bottom line. It's messing with your mind. So today, we're going to bring in someone who's going to help uplift us and move us out to the place where we need to be, so we can be who God has created us to be.
That's right. All that He has created us to be.
Amen. Come on now.
Unafraid unafraid.
Yes.
So we're going to go to a video clip real quick. And then when we come back, Coach Karen will be with us, and she's going to answer some of these questions and maybe even elaborate a little bit more. But, you know, this is our musical program partnership.
We like music here
yes,
at
we
Mentor
do.
Me
All
411.
kinds of music. And this is Go-Go Gospel now.
Uh-oh.
Okay, Go-Go Gospel with Outreach 24/7. Get off the pew.
All right.
Tell me what you're gonna do.
Say what?
You gotta get up for that.
You gotta get up, y'all.
We got work to do.
Listen, don't you know it's outreach?
24/7. Tell me what you're gonna do.
Say what?
You gotta get up for that.
You gotta get up, y'all.
We got work to do.
Listen, don't you know it's outreach?
24/7.
Out there is a boy. He's only 16, but he thinks he's a man. He meets a girl 16. He starts to tell her that he loves her as he kisses on the ear.
Say what?
For 9 months he's a dad. But he denies the whole thing because the little boy is scared. He's confused, don't know what to do. Too hard to get a job because he dropped out of school. What should the mother do? I said she's all alone trying to raise his kid on her own. Can she come to the church? Can she come to us in her time of need? You know what? I surely hope so. Cause what's the use of being saved if you can't help someone? You say that you a Christian? I said it doesn't mean nothing if you can't save the world without outreach.
Tell me what you're gonna do.
What you gonna do?
You gotta get up for that.
You gotta get up, y'all.
We got work to do.
Listen, don't you know it's outreach?
24/7.
Out there was a woman who's selling her body just to pay the rent. She used to have a good job at first. She got hooked on drugs. That's where the money went. She never thought she'd be a hooker until she met the wrong man. That's the way he took her. And now she's out on the street being used and abused by everyone she meets. Who's gonna go and hug her? Who's gonna go and love her? Who's gonna tell her about the Lord Jesus Christ? How he paid the price so she can have eternal life. If your life be here, it be here from the ones in the dark. The enemy blind their mind. So let your light shine like a bug. Get out your seat, then you hit the street without reach.
Tell me what you're gonna do. You gotta get up for that.
You gotta get up, y'all.
We got work to do.
Listen, don't you know it's outreach?
24/7.
Out there was a man who had a rough time. He was down on his luck. Instead of turning to the Father, I said he turned to the bottle and they got stuck. He really wanna break the habit.
Help me,
but
Jesus.
the force is so strong that it makes him grab it. And now he's smelling like liquor. While the inside of him is getting sicker and sicker. And then he comes to the church and he sits on the pew and it's right next to you. But do you put your finger up?
Excuse me?
Or do you bear with the smell that's rolling in the air? If Christ was in your place, he would just start praying to get the brothers saved. That's what the church is for. I say to win lost souls and bring them back home without reach.
Tell me what you're gonna do.
Without reach.
You gotta get up for that.
I say what?
We got work to do.
Listen, don't you know it's outreach?
24/7.
Hey, what's up, church? I see you looking good out there. Outreach, can you help me? Tell the people get out of the
You
pew.
gotta get up off of that pew.
I see what?
You gotta get up off of that pew.
I see what?
You gotta get up off of
We
that
gotta
pew.
hug somebody.
You gotta get up off of
We
that
gotta love somebody.
You gotta get up off of
We
that
gotta tell
pew.
somebody.
You gotta get up off
Tell
of
about
that pew.
Jesus.
You gotta get up off of that pew.
Jesus
You gotta get up off of that pew.
Don't you think it's about time that you let your light
Gotta
shine?
let your light shine.
Get up on your seat and get out there in the street. People really need to see the life of Christ in you.
up.
Oh, wow.
Get up. That's the whole point of this.
Get up. Get on
Get
up.
That's right. It's not about you.
Nope.
But we're going to be talking about that whole sabotage thing that's going on right now so that we can get up and go out there into the community and help bring them into their destiny.
Into their destiny.
So we have Coach Karen here with us. And she's going to help us get folks there. But you know what? I know that this whole topic is huge, and that we're going to be focusing on the self-sabotage. If you could just allow me to read this one paragraph, I think you'll appreciate it, both of you.
Alrighty.
That behavior is said to be self-sabotaging when it creates problems and interferes with long-standing goals. The most common self-sabotaging behaviors are procrastination, self-medication with drugs or alcohol, comfort eating, and forms of self-injury such as cutting. These acts may seem helpful in the moment, but ultimately undermine us, especially when we engage in them repeatedly, which becomes a habit.
Definitely.
Coach Karen, talk to us.
All right, great. Well, first of all, I'm excited about being on this show today. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm excited about the topic because a lot of times we do not realize what's going on. I always tell people that we can go to work, you can drive home and go to work every day, and you can be eating, you can put on makeup if you're a woman, you can listen on the radio, talk on the phone, do all these things, and we get home and to work every day because we do it subconsciously.
Right.
We're driving on autopilot, so you can do all those different things. And a lot of times we do life in autopilot. We go on autopilot when it comes to doing life.
True.
And so whenever you want to go somewhere new, like if you've never been to a destination before, a lot of us, we turn off the radio. Okay, I got to get off the phone. We begin to cut everything off so we can pay attention to the navigator. We have to pay attention to where we're going. And so it's the same way with life, a lot of times if you're ever going to go somewhere new, you have to begin to do something different, cut out all the distractions,
there we go.
and stay focused. And that's what this show is really about. Because when we live on autopilot, we don't realize how we repeat so many cycles that we don't even see.
Yes.
And another scenario I like to give before we even go into this part, because I'm a type of person, I give a lot of visuals because we are visual people, and a lot of times we can say stuff and I hear you but I really can't connect, but a lot of times we can connect to pictures. And so let me ask you something for those who are listening. Have you ever gotten up in the middle of the night, went to the bathroom, maybe went through the kitchen, got something to drink, went back to bed, and never turned the lights on?
Yes.
We all do it because it's our own house.
Right.
We know where everything is.
Yes.
It's familiar.
It's a familiar place. You know where the furniture is. You don't have to, you're comfortable.
Right.
That's another scenario. That's how we do life in the dark.
Wow.
We know how we function. We know what we like. We know what we don't like. We have those different behaviors, what makes us tick, but we do all these different things and we don't realize how many negative behaviors or negative responses that we do because they became habits like you talked about.
Right.
And it is how we did life. But when you turn the light on, the light only exposes dirt. It doesn't remove the dirt.
All right.
And so when we talk about sabotaging thoughts on this radio broadcast, when we're talking about bringing your dreams to life, we have to begin to turn the light on. And that's what we're going to do today is begin to turn a light on so that we can begin to identify some things, because you can't confront what you don't first identify.
That's right.
That's
And you'll never conquer what you're not willing to confront.
Right.
And so the whole purpose...
That's a tweetable moment.
Right.
Say
You'll
that again.
never conquer.
You can't confront what you don't first identify, but you'll never conquer what you're not willing to confront.
Yes.
And so we know that there's going to be some things that you hear today that's going to cause the light bulb to come on the inside of you to say, oh, yeah, I do that. Because a lot of things, like I said before, they're so repeat behaviors that we don't realize I respond like this. Or we don't realize I withdraw when this happens. Or we don't realize why I come out like this.
Those triggers.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And a lot of times when, especially like at work or maybe with family members, we can say stuff like, oh, that's just William, you know, oh, that's just Tracy, let them be. Have you ever said that?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Oh, that's just so-and-so. Oh, no, that became so-and-so.
Right.
That's not just so-and-so.
Right.
But we put up with a lot of things that if you saw someone on crutches, you would see a physical handicap.
Right.
But it's that emotional and that mental handicap that we put up with where it's like, oh, they just in their mood.
Right.
No,
But
it became...
there's no sign on them that says,
Right.
here's who I really am.
Right.
But here's who I'm
I'm
pretending
angry.
to be. Right.
Yes.
I'm angry. I'm so, you know, I got insecurity issues.
Right.
We don't have those labels, but they're in the invisible realm. And so, as it relates to even where you were talking about and some of the things you all were talking about before I came on the show, which was really good. You really did your homework.
Well, thank you, Coach Karen. Maybe we should get our own show.
Really?
Right. And so one of the things, even as it relates to, you know, sabotaging thoughts, one thing we don't realize is that we are all the product of our environment,
Yes.
our upbringing, the things that we heard, the things we didn't hear, the things that happened to us, whether it's from childhood or even your adolescence growing up and even into your adult life.
Right.
We are the product of the things that has happened to us or the things that we've witnessed, and those are the things that begin to shape in
That's
our
right.
personality. They
Yes.
begin to shape in who we are, but it's not who God created us to be.
Right.
And so along our journey, there are some people who have been physically abused, you have mental abuse, you have verbal abuse, you have sexual abuse. There are things that people blocked out of their past,
Yes.
and maybe you wasn't even dealing with abuse.
Right.
Some people may have had a loved one die at an early age, and see what happened as adults or as people, we have the mentality of, that was a long time ago. Oh, that's old.
Right.
Or, you know, that's you know, that was
Get
in the
over
past.
it.
Yeah, get over it.
Right.
But a lot of times we don't get over it. We get over it consciously, but remember, we live our lives subconsciously.
Right.
And so what happened is we've learned to distance ourselves, but what happens is we don't realize why we do what we do. And that's what the whole show is about, is really helping people to understand why we do what we do. And that goes back to, you can't confront what you don't first identify.
Right.
So, you know, even when it comes to anger, I think about people who are outwardly angry, but then you have subliminally angry.
Right.
Yes.
And I remember for me, now I grew up in an abusive home. And I blocked my whole past out. So it wasn't until God began to start giving me dreams and, you know, prophetic words
That's
that he
good.
started revealing things
good.
from my past. Well, there's a lot of people who have issues from the past
Right.
that we think is the past.
Right.
But a lot of our past, we don't realize that you can be 20, 30, maybe 40 or 50 years old today,
Still dealing
but
with
still dealing with an
Yes.
issue that took
Right.
place when
Yes.
you were in your 3rd grade or
Right.
3 years
Right.
old, 10. I'm going to give you a
I've
prime
seen that.
example. I was speaking to this lady just this week, and she tells me she meets this man, and he's 66 years old, and she's like 50-something. And, you know, he introduced, like, because he liked her and all those different things. And as they started going out, he started bringing up things about what his mother did.
Wow.
And how this, and she said every time they had a conversation, it will always come back
Wow.
around
Yes.
to something in his past.
Right.
Now, he is 66-year-old
Yep.
man
Yep.
who feels comfortable enough, first of all, to
Right.
share this with this lady because he's interested.
There's a connection.
But there's also a spiritual connection.
Right.
And that's good that he's able to share that, because how many people don't share or not honest enough to begin to say, hey, I'm leaking.
Right.
And that's really what it is. I'm leaking.
Right.
Right.
Like if I had this water bottle, here's a water bottle right here. You can see this. And if I was to poke holes in it, just little holes, no matter how much water I fill this bottle up, it's going to always be leaking.
Right.
Right.
And so what happened is when we meet people, the things that they say,
That's right.
the things that they do, they're really just leaking
Right.
issues.
Right.
But those are the issues that we have really just oh, I'm just going to pacify this. I'm going to stroke this. Instead of, no, let's begin to deal with
Let's
this.
deal with
Yes.
it. Right.
Yes.
Let's really begin to deal with why is it that I keep blowing off. But this, going back to the guy, here that lets you know, 66 years old, but whatever took place when he was 10 or as a child is still dealing with him today.
Yep.
And that's with a lot of people who are even listening to this now. You are even, some things are going up on the inside of you like, yeah, why do I act like that? Why does that bother me?
Why can't
Or
I stop?
why doesn't it bother me?
Right. Or why can't I let it go?
Right.
So just because I know I can relate myself, and I'm sure we've all done this, how many people have gone to bed thinking about something that happened? It could be a week later, and you're still thinking about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I know they didn't do that. Oh no, they didn't.
Right. And you feel it inside.
And it's still a
You
week
still feel it.
later.
You still feel
it's
it.
still how many, so that's just a week later. Can you
Right.
imagine how many things
Years
are
later.
still bothering people years later?
Right.
But remember, I'm dealing with the
good.
subconscious part of us, because it's the subconscious part of us that is, let me tell you the difference between conscious and subconscious.
Okay.
The conscious part of you is the part that you know actively. That's blue or black. I don't know what color that is. Okay, that's
You're
blue.
right.
That's a dark blue suit.
Yes.
You know, oh, that's red. Or it's the part I can see. It's my conscious part. It's alive right now. But the subconscious part of you is below the threshold. It's the below the threshold of your imagination. So now it's not about what I'm thinking about. It's about what's driving
Right.
me. And it's like the engine that's in your car.
Right.
You know, you
Right.
need an engine along
Right.
with some other stuff. But the subconscious part of us drives us, and that's the part that we're not aware of. So
That's
we
good.
don't realize
That's good.
why we do what we do.
Right.
And so let me just give you one way to begin to start identifying some things.
Take notes.
I know that's right.
One way to really start paying attention to what's driving you is you have to understand that when God begins to show you something, he will allow something to happen to bring it up.
That's right.
So what happens is you might be dealing with anger and not know it, or maybe insecurities or low self-esteem. Maybe you're dealing with rejection or rebellion, all those different things. Maybe doubt, fear. Fear is a big one. But what happens is he will allow something to happen on your job, in your family, because every platform belongs to God. So it's not compartmentalized like here's the church,
Right.
here's home, here's work.
Right.
It's not compartmentalized. Every platform, wherever you are, God will use anything. And he uses these things not because of the other person, but what he's really doing is saying, I need to bring this up because you can't confront it unless you first identify it.
Right.
So now, if it's below the threshold, you need to realize that this thing is going to pluck my nerve. It's like, oh, I'm going to allow this to happen. I'm going to allow somebody to say something to you. I'm going to allow whatever took place so that really what I'm really trying to show you is why did you respond like that? Why does that really get your goal? Why did you shrink back?
Right.
Why are you procrastinating? Why did you go off?
Right.
Why are you withdrawing on the inside of you? Why does that really ruffle your feathers? And so what happens is now you have to begin to do self-assessments. And that's what a lot of people do not do.
Right.
I'm not talking about you can't shout this out. You can't pray this out.
Can't turn it up out.
Yep.
What's that? What's that?
Turn it up.
Oh, I'm so not hip. Right. But you can't do any of those things except begin to really deal with yourself. And I
Right.
think that's where a lot of us miss it in the church. Yes, I love the Lord. I'm a pastor. I'm a ministry gift. But when it's all said and done, yes, I pray. Yes, I go to church. Yes, I worship. But when it came to me really dealing with my thought life, for me, I'm a writer. So I began to write. I process. You know, we all may do different things. For me, I can write my feelings out.
Right.
But even if you're not a writer, you have to begin to just analyze you.
Right.
Take the time to sit still and say, okay, let's really analyze this situation. Was this right? No. But as long as you keep looking this way, you'll never look this way.
Right.
So I'm not saying that the other person was right.
Right.
I'm not even
Right.
condoning what
Right.
happened.
Right.
I'm not even saying, you're justified. But when it's all said and done, God really wants to know, why did you respond like that?
Right. He wants you to know.
No.
Right. He wants you, because he already knows.
Yeah.
You got issues.
Right. And it's okay.
It
Right.
is.
Because
It
when
is.
it's
That's the
all
thing.
said and done, you have to know the God who knows every aspect about you already knew before he called you,
Right.
already knew every issue that you had,
Right.
but he still called you. And I think about the awesomeness of God, that he wasn't looking for the perfect person. He's looking for the one that's humble to
Right.
know that it's God
Right.
that's going to
That's
do it
right.
through them.
Right.
I'm not perfect.
Right. No.
None of us are
None of us.
perfect.
No.
We all have issues that we had to overcome and still
Still
overcoming.
overcoming. Amen.
But God still called us to do what he's called us to do. Whether it's inside of the church, whether it's outside of the
Right.
church, we have all been called, we all have an assignment to fulfill. We all have something on the inside of us that somebody is waiting
Yes.
for you to step into.
Yes.
But it's our own thought life and the things that's going on the inside of us that keeps us stuck and making excuses. So even though when you were talking about some of the things you talked about, the biggest thing is stop making excuses, because your excuses become a crutch that causes you not to really deal with you.
So wait, stop. Because so the first thing you said was you got to acknowledge it.
Acknowledge.
That's the first thing. Now, the second step you're taking us into now is to stop making excuses for
They're
the
kind
behavior.
of the same thing.
Okay.
Excuses will be the reason why you don't acknowledge.
Okay.
See, because if you keep making excuses for why you do what you do, or if you keep making excuses for because it's the other person, you will never
Right.
acknowledge.
Right.
So the first step, I don't really want to call that a step. I just want to encourage you to stop making the excuses and recognize, even on today, that the excuses that you're making, the excuses that you're making as it relates to you. And that's why, see this? We're shining the light. This is like the
Okay.
flashlight being shined in your situation to say, hey, stop making
Right.
excuses. So the other one is acknowledge. You
Okay.
have to begin to sit still, make different assessments so you can begin to acknowledge, oh yeah, I do that.
Right.
Because until you acknowledge it, then you won't get past it.
Okay.
So to go to step 2, after you actually acknowledge, then you have to begin to ask God, why? Where did this come from?
Okay.
Because what happens is there
Okay.
are some of us who are listening, you already know. Oh, yeah,
Right.
I know that.
Right.
I know that about me.
Right.
Well, I've been doing that for years.
Right.
But we never get past it because we stop at, oh, yeah, I know.
Right.
And some of us think we're too old to change.
Right.
You're
That's
never
right.
too old to change, because when it's all said and done, it's going to be by God's grace and ability and his word
Right.
that is going to actually bring the change.
Right,
It's not
right.
because
If you-
it's not mind over matter.
Right.
It's not like you wake up like, I'm healed, I got it, I'm better.
Right.
That
No.
doesn't work like that.
No.
It is, God, I need you. I need you in this situation. But first, he has to begin to show you, where did that come from?
Right.
And that takes time. First of all, if God doesn't show you, then sometimes you do have to seek out a coach. That goes back to whatever you was talking about as it relates to the company you keep.
Right.
You can't talk to everybody.
No, you
Right.
Because
can't.
everybody is not anointed to help people to begin to assess different things. I think you saw on my Facebook, the Facebook entry I made about I had a coaching assignment. And I love coaching because
Right.
the light bulb just turns on.
Yes.
I've had so many
Yes.
people who have like, yes, like just the little things, because we live our lives also based on our perception.
Right.
So I don't realize that the reason why I've been angry for the last 20 years because my perception was
Right.
one way.
Right.
So, you know, as
Yes.
you know, we're going to have to talk about this again, because
Oh,
you
yes.
really
Right.
can't get all this in. I'm trying to talk really fast, but I know that a lot of times our perception can be one way, and that keeps us stuck because I only see
See it.
this.
Right.
I don't see the bigger picture, and God will always see the bigger picture. So there are some some of you all who are listening, where it's like if you begin to just sit still and begin to recognize some of the behaviors and some of the patterns, and you'll recognize them because we're praying for you. I'm praying for you. And guess what? If you're listening to this, God's going to start showing you something.
And he's really brought you in front of this particular broadcast, webcast, telecast, whatever you want to call it, because you got issues that he wants to help you overcome.
And it's time.
And what you're talking about there, that piece, they call that getting to the root. Right?
Getting to the root.
And why is that so important to get to the root? I know you got this.
Right. The reason why is because as it is in the natural, so it is in the spirit. If you see dandelions or weeds on the outside, you know, a lot of times if you just pull it up from the grass, like right here, you pull it up and it looks like you got it from, you don't see anything, but you didn't get underneath the ground. So the root is still there and it has the ability to grow back up again. So what happens is in our personal lives, that if you just think it's mind over matter, or I'm gonna do better, and I'm gonna work on this from the surface level, you'll never get to the root. And the root is the seeds that was sown along the way. What are seeds? The words that were spoken, your environment, the things that shape you, they were all seeds that were sown into our soul that begin to grow up in a harvest in our lives. And that's why I'm angry. That's why I'm insecure or I withdraw.
So no matter how many relationships you get in,
that's why I keep repeating the same bad habits with jokers, because I don't realize it's not them, it's me.
No matter how many great jobs I get,
it's me that goes into every new arena of my life. So new job, new
what
church,
neighborhood I move into,
I still am taking me with me. So we keep taking us, and if you keep taking the same old you into new places, you'll keep repeating the same bad habits. And so you're listening to the broadcast and continue to listen, because if it's about bringing your dreams to life, you have to realize that week after week, we're going to be talking about different things that's going to be the actual, I call it like the hole that goes into the ground that begins to dig stuff up. So we are actually the tools that God's going to use to begin to dig some stuff out, excavate. That's a big word. Excavate some things out of your life so that you can be made aware, so that you can begin to make your own self-assessments, begin to recognize, sitting still like, oh yeah, this is why that happened. So prior to the show, things happen and you just got mad. After this show, now when things happen, you may still get mad in the beginning, but you're going to begin to like, okay, let me look at me. And then I want you to ask God, where is that coming from? Show me. And then as the show goes on, I'm going to teach you some different ways to begin to uproot. In fact, I have material on my website. One is called Unmasking the Real You. It's time to unmask the real you. And that is an interactive workbook. It's a 22-week course. And when I say it's an interactive workbook, I've had men and women who have gotten this book. It will cause you to write some things down, because I'm anointed to help people to identify some things that's going on that they wouldn't even ask themselves. And so especially when you're in that new area, when you go to a new place, you need a navigator or MapQuest. Well, guess what? I'm like a navigator, begin to go into some different places that you wouldn't even thought about on your own. And so it is a book. Go on mentorme411.com. Go to Karen, click on the button, and it'll take you right to the page, and you'll see a special that I'm offering for those who are listening to the show. It's an interactive workbook. I've had people say, oh my God, you're messing with me on the first chapter. I had one guy who came to my shop and said, oh my God, you want to know what came out of me, KP? I'm like, And so that's one of the products that we're offering right there. If you buy the book, you get a free CD. 3 ways a painful past can create a promising future. Listen, I talk from experience. I'm not talking because I heard this somewhere. I have walked out every one of the things that I teach. I have walked it out. I have to live it out. I'm the first partaker. Even self-publishing 101, you see that right there. It may be some of you all who are looking to publish a book, and I'm sure there are people who say, oh yeah, I want to write, and you just don't think you can do it. You need to get that right there, because I may be talking about books, but I'm talking about a lot of things. I had the last lady said, I wasn't sure what this back. But I wasn't expecting that. And because I'm talking about bringing your dream to, I'm
Right.
talking about
Right.
stepping into the very thing that you've been called to do. But those things that stay with you year after year, month after month, and they don't go away, that's because there's some things that's hindering you from moving forward. That's God that brought a seed of destiny on the inside of you. It won't go away. It's not a random thought. It's something that's staying with you. And the reason why is because God is saying it's time. But until you begin to identify these things, identify these things that are taking place, then what happens is you don't realize it's like I want to go forward, but I can't.
Right.
And so that's
Right.
what this show is about. I am finished. I am really out of time. I
but listen.
apologize for going over time.
No, it's. I mean,
No,
it's
this is
you
good.
have a lot to say, but you have a lot to contribute, and that's why you're a part of this show. And just even with the last piece on self-publishing, because you spoke about your gift of writing and how therapeutic it can be, but the other piece to that is how many times have you read someone else's writings and it touched you?
Right.
See, and so there are people who are watching the show now who actually, if you get in this habit of writing, and maybe some of you have written some things, you get in the habit of writing and it becomes therapeutic for you, but guess what? It becomes a blessing for someone else, but that'll never happen unless you publish it.
Right.
So you can work with Coach Karen and she can get you from point A to point Z so that the things that you are either A, writing now, or B, will start writing as a result of watching this show. You will be able to be a blessing to someone else. And in turn, guess what? As the Bible says, men will give into your bosom,
Right.
and it'll overflow and overflow and overflow.
Well, you know what, Coach Karen, you said a lot of things, and I want to make sure our audience understand what they should expect now, because I sense that there are some out there that really want to move forward with this. Whether you contact Coach Karen or not, you really want to move forward with this. You mentioned something about God will show it to you in a dream. Can you elaborate just a little bit on that?
Well, a lot of times God speaks in dreams. He speaks different ways. He speaks in dreams, visions, a prophetic word, inward witness, the things that, really like your thought life. Because I always tell people, a lot of times we don't realize it's God showing us things. It's just like your thought. He's not going to come with the hallelujah chorus. He's not going to come like, oh, Karen. You're not going to hear any of that. You're not going to get goose pimples. It'll just be a thought. And a lot of times God is speaking to us already,
All the
but we
time,
just don't know
yes.
it because we're thinking, I didn't get no quiver or different things like that.
Right.
But it's those thought life. If you pay attention to your thought life, that's what I really want you to
Right.
do. Pay attention to
Yes.
your thought life.
Yes.
That's
If
good.
it comes, whether it comes
Good.
in a dream or if it comes another way, pay attention to your thought life, because those are things that God would begin to show you. When He first started speaking to me in dreams, He would show me. I would have different synopsis in the dream, and I would wake up like choking somebody or cussing somebody out, but He was really showing me,
Right.
Karen, you are angry. I had a lot of anger on the inside of me, but I wasn't outwardly angry. I was subliminally angry.
Yes.
So I would be cynical, come out with the little snippets like that.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a trip. I used to have road rage when I was young. Give you the finger, like what? But all
Pick
that
which
was
one you want.
anger, right? But all was anger. And so a lot of times God will speak to us different ways. But begin to ask God. God will speak to you. What are you saying? Telling me, God? What are you showing me? Be still. Don't put God in a box on how He's going to answer. And also don't just do it on a run. Take time to really be still. Be still before God. Talk to God like a regular person. God, show me. I'm
Right.
angry. Where did this come from? He will begin to show you. Start writing down. When you start writing, let it flow. We're out of time.
No, we're not.
Oh, we're not?
Oh,
I was gonna say, we are out of time. We got
I'll
to
take
go.
care of this. I told you, she's a little spitfire, I tell you. All
I
right.
get to rolling, and I'm like, I got so much to say, because I can really just pour into people. I mean, because really, I'm crashing something that I really do for 22 weeks.
Right.
That 22-week course is a 5-month course that I try to crash into to make deposit, because if you're listening today, I want you to get all that you need to get today. But of course, just like William said, you have to really stick with this week after week after
Right.
week.
Right.
to-
Commit.
And
Week
here's the
after
thing.
week.
The truth is, you didn't get in this in 60 minutes, 50 minutes. So it's going to take a little bit longer than 50 minutes to get out of it. But at the same time, if you have someone working with you over time, it becomes easier to get out of. And of course, because of the fact that this is God driven, and he knows everything about you, even knows the numbers of hairs on your head. You know, the bottom line is he knows how to reach you. And so there'll be something that Karen will say, something that she will share that will hit those buttons, flip those switches inside of you to begin to bring out all of these things that need to be moved in your life.
And so now we have them understanding that God's going to speak to them in multiple different ways. And when that happens, what should they do? How should they record this, if at all?
Well, really what suits them. I'm a writer. You can write. You can do
Journal.
digital recording.
Make songs.
And
That's
writing,
right.
and writing is journaling. It's the
Yes.
same thing. But now the difference between journaling and releasing, sometimes we journal just to, you know, record different things. But when I release, I have it on a separate piece of paper, not inside of my journal, and I begin to release them to God. Like I literally write and I lift up the paper to God and I say, God, I'm releasing these things.
I don't want it
These
anymore.
are the things I'm releasing. And then I actually take communion over it. And so, you know, I'll go over that maybe in another show of really how to take communion, about really releasing the stuff that's out of us. And sometimes you have to keep doing it until you're really free.
Right.
You know, I did it one time. I did this already. But guess what? Until you're really free, sometimes you have to keep releasing it, because sometimes we can release it from our head and not really from our heart. And so when God begins to speak to you, then write it down, begin to assess what's really going on, begin to ask God, where did this come from? Ask God to help me get to the root.
Right.
And if you still need help, email me, or on the website you'll see an email box.
Right.
That's
And you can ask me questions. I'll respond back to you, and we can go from there. Sometimes people do have to take the next step to go into coaching. We may do monthly coaching, or sometimes you can get material, because I always tell people you should invest into your spiritual life. You should invest into your personal development life. You should invest into your business life. Isn't it amazing that we'll invest to get our hair done and our eyes done and our nails and our feet done, but we won't invest into our own personal lives, into our soul, so that we can move forward into our destinies? And I'm a firm believer it's a small investment that will yield a huge increase. Because one thing about your mind can either enslave you or it can empower you.
That's right.
And but so until you get the new information, you'll never walk in a new level if you don't get fed at a new level. You'll always keep walking at the place where you are.
So let me say this in wrapping up and closing.
Amen.
That was an amen moment. Yes.
You're going to want to offer next. Go ahead, Tracy.
Okay, all right. So we understand now that we want to change. There has to be change.
Yes.
We're going to document or record that the best way for us for measurability also.
Yes.
So yes, because we want to be able to track that change. When you contact Coach Karen on mentorme411.com and go to her bio, she has her own email box. We will not see your message to
Good
Coach
point.
Karen. This is for you and Coach Karen
Confidential.
only. Yes. We will not discuss this. This is your personal coach right here. So feel free to do that. We're going to come back again over the next few months, and we're going to actually step some folks through some process. And if you are changing, come on to this program and talk about that change with us too. Coach Karen will be back again next month, the second Sunday at 6 in the evening.
Every second Sunday.
Yes. You can connect with her at any time. You can connect with any one of us.
Any
so we
one of
do
us,
want to thank you again. This was our program on spiritual health. Stop sabotaging yourself with your thoughts. Okay, so let's move forward and move ahead. And I guess that's it for this program. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Well, I wear my clothes like this because I can. And I wear my hair like this because I can. And I walk around like this because I can. And I do my thing like this because it's who I am. And if you're expecting me to give you an apology for being nothing that you're used to, break your lip and never air